Like, share and subscribe. 9 steps to prevent commercial identity theft. Has this ever happened in your life? You're in the best of moods and the phone rings. You answer it cheerfully only to be welcomed by a crude voice on the other end that says your bills are overdue, and after you've planned and paid out every single bill well in time. Well, that kind of confusion is often caused by commercial identity theft. This can only happen when someone has already used your social security number, your credit card PIN, your driver's license, or your bank account. In other words, it's more than just money at stake here. The thief has taken on your identity. It's sad but true that this has in fact happened to many people in recent times. To say they were upset with the situation would be an understatement. People do work hard to get what they do get in life, and then somebody can just take it away like that. It doesn't sound fair, and it sure is not. To protect yourself and your family from such thieves, we've put down a few tips for you. 1. To make checks on your credit report by the 3 firms more than just once in a year. Go through every little detail to verify its accuracy. Any smallest error needs to be immediately verified. 2. It's a bad idea to carry your social security number around in your wallet. Try and memorize it for emergency. If you lose your wallet, you should only lose the cash in it, not your identity. 3. A classic mistake is when people write down their PIN numbers on the reverse of their ATM cards. What more could a thief ask for? Keep all private numbers, including driver's license number, social security, and PIN, private. 4. The internet is the target for many hackers, and most people give out personal credit card information on the net while making a purchase. Don't do that. Use something like PayPal instead. 5. Don't let out your credit card private details to anybody who calls, especially to buy a product. That's not the right way to buy a product. 6. When spending time in a hotel room, to use the hotel phone rather than a mobile identity. Thieves love to listen on private conversations in hotel rooms and lobbies. 7. You could work with a company that prevents identity theft and helps with the paperwork if it does happen to you. 8. If you find a credit card, never do anything other than report it to the nearest authority. You could get involved with a scamming chain simply by carrying it around. 9. If you would like to speak to somebody about identity theft, call the Federal Trade Commission at 1-877-IT-THEFT-438-4338. 22 tips for identity theft prevention. 1. Where this kind of a thief is concerned, he would rather steal things like your social security number than your cash, because he can use it to get right into your commercial activities. So, never write your social security number on your papers, in your wallet, and in your mobile phone. 2. Have you heard about shoulder surfing? It's literally peeping over your shoulder to get your ATM PIN or similar details. Beware of prying eyes and hidden cameras. 3. Shred your important papers before you dispose of them. 4. Rather than put your signature on the credit cards, you could simply write down something like photo ID available. This prevents people using your card if they get their hands on it at least at times. 5. When you're done with your digital files such as old budgets, bank statements, and tax returns, delete the files rather than leave them on your computer at home or office. 6. Look carefully at all your bills and credit card statements. There may be a small amount being deducted to an internet site that you did not sign up for. 7. Rather than leave your bills in the post box, why not take a trip to the post office and pay them directly? 8. Give out limited details in writing, on checks. 9. At least once a year, analyze all your credit reports. They have your social security number, your card numbers, and other valuable info. 10. Make sure you've a good antivirus and anti-spyware installed on your PC. 11. Check that the website is secure before you pay for an item online. 12. Keep constant track on your credit. 13. If anyone asks you for personal information that seems unrelated to the task at hand, go ahead and ask why they want to know those details. 14. If you're being offered a pre-approved credit card that sounds fishy, think again before you give in your personal details. The card may be a dummy, and your information would be real. 15. Don't carry valuable papers unless you need to use them. 16. Keep track of your yearly Social Security reports so you can pinpoint if anything is amiss. 17. Take note of every charge credited to your card before you pay the amount. 18. If you've a credit card account that you don't use, it's better to cancel it. 19. Never give your credit card number to a telecaller. If you call them, it's okay to do so at times. 20. It's wise to use a credit card monitoring service so you know as soon as someone applies in your name. 21. Verify a stranger's identity before you respond to their emails. 22. Keep your wallet protected in crowded places. Learn how to prevent identity theft. Nobody likes being victimized, and identity theft is becoming a recurring nuisance in the world today. Once the deed is done, it's quite hard to reverse it, and a lot of paperwork will be the least that you'll need to do. It's surely much better to work at the prevention rather than the cure. The one important point you need to always bear in mind is that if the thief can't get at your personal information, he cannot steal your identity. Here's how they can get your personal, valuable and sensitive information. 1. When you buy consumables over the internet. 2. With web banks. 3. Not destroying your old credit cards. 4. Storage of critical information on a PC. 5. Mobile phones. 6. Wireless phones. These are the classic target areas the thieves are looking at, and these are the areas you'll need to safeguard. Here is a list of steps you may take to prevent identity theft. 1. Memorize your PIN numbers and passwords rather than putting them down on paper. 2. Protect your critical computer files by locking them with a password, and don't use something as obvious as a birthday or the name or your girlfriend as the password. 3. Ask the credit bureau to give you regular updates on your credit and look at anything out of the ordinary in the reports. 4. Use a good antivirus and anti-spyware on your PC. Here is where they most often get your passwords. 5. Where sensitive information is concerned, never email it. Give it personally over the phone if you must, or better still in person at the next meeting. 6. When someone unknown sends you an email attachment, never download it without running a virus check on it. It is most probably a virus or a bug. 7. Never give your personal credit card PIN number or security code to someone who calls you over the phone. 8. Destroy your used credit cards before you throw them away. 9. If you do happen to misplace or lose a credit card, driver's license, or any other personal information carrier, report it to the police and also to your banks. 10. If you need to throw away documents containing your personal data, destroy them first. Use a shredder, or you could just burn them so they can never fall into wrong hands. 11. That goes for bank receipts and all your bills as well. Destroy them rather than just throw them into the bin. Following these few tips can save you a lot of trouble where identity theft is concerned. Remember the golden rule: prevention is better than cure. Keep your personal information secure and your identity is secure. 12 steps to avoid identity theft with your stolen checks. One of the easiest ways a fraudulent person can access your bank is through a check. All they need to do is pick your pocket, handbag, or briefcase, and they might even get the whole check book filled with blank pages. Can you imagine what damage this person could do if she could forge your signature? If you do realize one day that your check is missing, it could very well be stolen by such a thief. Stop payments on all issued checks immediately because you may not have issued them. Do get your bank statements and speak with the bank officials too. See if any of the leaves have already been used. In most cases, it would be easier to verify this if you could provide the check numbers. If you're a regular check user and are aware and fearful of identity theft, you could use these measures to feel safer about the issue. 1. You could ask for a credit report from a credit agency to see if there are unusual transactions from your account. It may be a small transaction at first as a trial run to suck your money out little by little. 2. Write down all the check numbers every time you issue one. This way you would realize immediately when one or more leaves is missing, and then go ahead and stop payment on them. 3. Don't keep all your eggs in one basket. Carry your passport, checkbooks, and other important personal papers in different bags, wallets. 4. Don't place any check account statement in your mailing box. That makes it an easy target. 4 identity thieves. 5. Do ask for privacy procedure processes at the bank. 6. Keep all the check statements on record for future reference. 7. If you need a new checkbook, collect it personally at the bank rather than have it mailed to you. All a thief would need to do is break open your mailbox. 8. It's a bad idea to write down your social security number on any check. This way, if you lose your check, you also just give your social security details to the thief. 9. Take the time to review your bank statements as they are coming in. Look for any unusual transaction and contact the bank to verify. 10. If you apply for a check account, ask for the return of application once it's approved so it doesn't fall into the wrong hands. 11. Use all the space in the allotted area when writing out a check. Don't leave space for someone to add to it. Also use a permanent marker when writing checks. 12. If you find a check missing from your book, call the police and call the bank before that. 9 ways to combat identity theft. If a person wants your identity, nothing will prevent them from making you become a victim of identity theft. What makes this crime so easy? They can commit these crimes so easily because all too often, people mishandle important papers or are careless with information in the workplace. There are also too lenient credit industry practices and the total effortlessness of getting social security numbers. You can reduce your chance of being the victim of fraud by following 9 simple steps. These are regarding credit and debit reports. 1. Don't let it become habit on carrying both the credit and debit cards at the same time. It's also a wise idea not to use the debit card because they lose more out of the checking account. However, you can carry at least 1 credit card on you, perhaps 2 as well as your ATM card. Should you be used to the debit card regularly, check your online account to detect signs of fraud or theft. As soon as you see discrepancies, report it to your bank or credit card company. 2. When using the debit or credit card, be cautious about how these cards are swiped and how they're handled. Some restaurant employees and many other places are using non-detectable skimmers that can pull off account numbers from personal computers. By getting this information, they can achieve to buy products online or make counterfeit cards. 3. Never use your debit card online when you shop. Instead, use a credit card. These cards often offer better protection in case of fraud. 4. Keep a list of the cards you've and make a separate list for account numbers, expiration dates, and customer service phone numbers in case the cards are lost or stolen. Put these in a safe place so you can use them for immediate access should you need to. 5. Never give out your personal information out online by phone or by mail. Only if you trust the person enough do you attempt to do this. A strategy thieves like to use is calling victims by saying they have won a prize of some sort, but the only way to get the money is to give out personal data. Never do this. 6. Don't throw your receipts just anywhere. Shred them if they are not needed and place them in a trash can not frequently used. Place shopping receipts inside your purse or wallet, not on your bag. 7. Never write your credit card number on your checks. This is a violation in some states but really exposes it to thieves. Doing this opens you up to being a victim. 8. Check the mailbox, especially if you're waiting on something important, including credit cards or credit statements. People could be peeking out to steal them before you can check. Should the card not arrive when it's supposed to, call the credit company to be sure the card did not fall into the wrong hands. 9. Don't forget to request your credit report once a year. A law was passed so the 3 credit bureaus have to give you a free copy each year. Should your report show signs of mishandling or unusual charges or credit reporting, look into them and make disputes. The sooner the fraud is found, the quicker it can be resolved and get your finances back in order. It's so important to remember these tips because it can make the difference between having good credit and having negative aspects by credit issuers who think you're the one making bad marks. ID theft protection: how you can protect yourself. Have you ever gotten a credit card bill you know is not yours, or do you have a credit card that has large purchase amounts that you did not buy? What about a criminal record? where you pulled over 4 outstanding tickets or warrants but you've never been in trouble with the law before. Then you've more than likely been an identity theft victim. This can be a heartbreaking task to clear up. Identity theft is a very frustrating and damaging crime for those who have been targeted by criminals. The thieves can steal your hard-earned cash as well as ruin your reputation. What else can these criminals do? Some of the things these criminals can do is ruin you both financially, economically, and criminally. Here are some things they try for: financial fraud, bank account fraud, computer fraud, criminal activities using your name. Imagine if you're being investigated for crimes you've no idea about. Something as simple as stealing lipstick or food and they can use your name as theirs. This is so upsetting for both the person whose name is being used and the family of the person whose name is used. Criminal activity is not easy to fix once your name is in the computer system. These criminals will get you convicted for tax evasion and fraud if you're not protecting your information and looking over it continuously. How can thieves get this information? Thieves can get your data in a variety of ways. It can be as simple as clicking on a computer email that has a link in it or losing your credit card outside your home. Everyone should know how to protect themselves from these technologically advanced predators. Always be careful to whom you give out your personal information to. Listed below are 8 ways a person can protect themselves from being a victim of identity theft. These are not listed in the order of importance. Should the phone ring and a person identifies themselves with a company you do business with asking to verify some information, don't give this to them. Get a name, full one, preferably, and hang up on them. Call the company back asking if they did indeed call. Should you ever give out your personal information to a company, be sure it's with one that's reputable, one that will protect your information. Ask them how they will protect your data. Always keep track of credit card receipts and credit card statements. Keep a constant eye on your bank statements too. Thieves who want to use your good name all the time will buy only one item a statement period to throw off suspicion of anything being out of place. Shred, rip up or cut up any personal information or papers. Thieves don't mind going dumpster diving for personal data. Never carry documents you don't need in your purse or wallet. A simple crime in stealing. These items can turn into a devastating nightmare of identity theft. Make copies of credit cards, passports, and other sensitive data. Doing so will make it easier to cancel if they're compromised. Keep up with your deposit slips. These are the easiest way a thief can get your bank account number. Keep it safe in your home at all times. Use a secure password, not one that can be easily guessed, such as your birthday or mother's maiden name. Contact police if you feel you've been a victim of identity theft. From here you can get unauthorized marks off your credit report easier. Steps to prevent identity theft. Identity theft. This is a most serious crime plaguing people today. If you've been the prey of this, you know it can have serious repercussions. It can be very troublesome clearing your credit, getting into debt, losing money, and even possible to get into trouble with the law. It could be difficult in obtaining a job or a place to live. Landlords do check applicants' credit reports. Thieves need your credit card numbers, name, address, social security number, and other personal data to hijack your identity. Once the thieves do this, they can open bank accounts, make purchases, apply for loans, try for new credit cards, get government benefits, and forge checks with your name on it. Should you be a victim, contact the authorities immediately. From here you can apply for identity theft insurance. The option is available on some homeowners' policy. Having the insurance doesn't guarantee that no one won't steal your identity, it only helps you recover should you be a victim. Be careful with your personal data, as this is the best prevention. You won't know until afterwards that someone has stolen it. Listed below are 6 ways thieves can get your identity. Steal your wallet that contains your credit cards and other information. Go through trash cans for personal data. Providing personal information through email or registration-based websites. Pretending to be a new creditor offering you credit. Eavesdropping on conversations or looking over your shoulder as you use your information. Pretend to promise awards or prizes by email. There are 4 transactions that can cause worry. There. Online banking. Online purchases. storing personal information on computer, using social security information for ID purposes. It doesn't mean you should ignore these types of transactions, just be careful when you do and don't give out your personal information. However, this doesn't necessarily mean that you should avoid these transactions. It means that you should be careful when giving away your personal and financial information. Be aware of how you'll use it and your financial information to stop identity theft. Altogether, there are 11 tips to follow to safeguard your info, personal and financial. Remember your social security number. Remember your PIN numbers. 4 passwords. Use something hard, not a birthday or a maiden name. Protect your computer against spywares by installing and updating firewall software. Confirm a website's legitimacy when it asks for personal data. Beware of emails with attachments from some you don't know or asks you to click on links when websites are asking for personal data. They should be secured. 2 ways this happens is the S in HTTPS and the lock on the websites next to the address bar. Don't give out personal information over the phone unless you made the initial contact. Should you lost or misplaced your credit cards, contact the company and cancel them. Easier said than done, but pick your mail up as soon as it's delivered. Don't get rid of financial and personal data in public areas. By safeguarding this information, it will make it harder for thieves to obtain your identity. Know what you are throwing away and practice these 11 rules. Always remember to shred, cut up, or puncture any documents that contain any of the personal data. That includes all credit cards, used checks, and identity cards. They could eventually get into the wrong hands. Should you think something is amiss, report it at once, getting it in black and white. Identity theft protection. What not to do. To be a smart consumer, identity theft protection is something that should always be top of your mind. You should know what you should do and what you should not do in order to ensure that you don't become a victim. There are several things that you should do, or rather things that you should not do, to make sure that this doesn't happen to you. The statistics show that many people will have some form of mistake on their credit report that has to do with identity theft. Here are some things that you should know about now. These are your don't do's. Never provide your social security number to anyone. You should always safely guard this information. In some states, you don't have to have it on your driver's license either. When you are careful about using your social security number, those that may be able to apply for and get credit in your name will have that much of a more difficult time doing so. Don't wait if it's lost. If you lose your credit card, don't wait to cancel it. If you can't find it, then take the time to look for it now. If you cannot find it, call the credit card company immediately and have them cancel and reissue it. Most credit card use on your credit card will be done within the first 24 hours of the thief having it in their possession. Don't give out your address, bank account information, or your last name. In some cases, this may be enough to get moving on a loan. Those that know that you've a good credit history may target you for this type of information. This information should not be given out on the web either. Don't forget about spyware and online protection. You should always have your online spyware running. This can help you to keep those that are using spyware as an identity theft tool to not attack you. Also, make sure you only provide your credit information on the web through merchants you know and those that offer a secure website. Don't go with the wrong credit card company. Most will offer identity theft protection in case someone does get a hold of your information. Choose your credit card company only after considering what they offer in identity theft protection. These things are all things that you should do all the time to ensure that you don't become a victim here. Credit cards and identity theft protection. If you use credit cards, there are several things that you should do now to make sure that you are covered if someone should try to pull a case of identity theft on you. Credit cards are often the single simplest method for those that are looking to steal to do so. To do this, they simply need to gather some information from you, and then off they can go to make the purchases that they would like to on your dime. But many credit cards now offer identity theft protection. This is a way of protecting you from the theft of your money on your credit card. Each credit card company does offer something that's different. You should take the necessary Steps then to ensure that the credit cards that you choose to work with will provide you with the best quality of protection. You should always consider this type of protection as it can work just like an insurance policy to protect you when and if something goes wrong. Find out before you sign up with a company what type of protection they offer. What's it? What's this type of identity theft protection? While each credit card company is different, most will offer you the same basic things. For example, if you call to report that your credit card is missing or stolen, they will freeze the account, which means that number one, even you can use it until it's deemed that all is well. They can then go back and make sure that number one has used your account in the time period that the credit card was missing. If they have, the protection will kick in. Most of the credit cards out there will offer you some sort of protection. Most will do this through not holding you responsible for debts that you've not incurred. You'll need to show that the transactions that were purchased on your credit card were in fact not made by you. If you go to use your credit card and you know that you do have available credit but your credit card has somehow been denied, this may be a sign that there's identity theft. You should immediately call your credit card lender and inquire as to what has happened on your account. Most lenders will help you to sort through the problems and will get your available balance back to you quickly. Identity theft protection is necessary for anyone that uses credit cards. Learn what your bank or lending company offers so that you are always protected. Identity theft using credit card. You had a great weekend. You and your best friend went shopping the mall. At the mall you picked up some cash at the ATM and used some great bargains at a couple of sales. Afterward, you went out for dinner and drinks to discuss the week's events and gossip about the rest of the crowd. After dinner you gave your credit card to the waitress, signed the bill and went home for a good night's sleep. On Monday life gets back to normal and the job beckons. But this Monday is different. With today's mail is your credit card billing statement. Relaxing from work you review the statement. What's this? There are purchases on the statement for things you know you didn't buy, and the balance is through the roof. What's going on? You call the credit card company to find out what's happened. They're helpful but not very sympathetic. They note you're near your credit limit and suggest you may a hefty payment this month. They don't understand. You did not make those purchases. What can you do now? If you've been through this before, you know you've been a victim of a crime. Call it identity theft or credit card fraud. It's illegal and it carries penalties if the criminal gets caught. Somehow, someone has gotten hold of your personal financial information. They've used your credit and your credit record to steal from both you and the credit card company. The problem is now the credit card company wants you to pay the bill. If you don't, it will hurt your credit score and make it more difficult to get loans at a good rate or open a new account in the future. You're in a jam, and the criminal who stole your identity is out partying on your good credit. How could this have happened? Was there someone standing behind you at the ATM, observing you enter your PIN for cash? Or did the waitress leave your card unattended out on a counter at the restaurant? Did you forget your card at the restaurant? Better check your wallet too. Be sure you feel violated, as if someone had broken into your home, and this criminal doesn't have a face or a name. You've no idea who or where the identity theft is, and you don't have a clue about what to do about it. Criminals like this commit identity theft by getting access to your personal information. They can use your birth date, your social security or driver's license number, your account numbers, your PINs, and your passwords to sneak into your accounts and rob you. In 2003, around 10 million people were victims of identity theft, and it cost them a total of $5 billion out of pocket. It also cost merchants and financial institutions $50 billion in that year. Each victim of identity theft ended up spending from $500 to $1,200 and from 30 to 60 hours of personal time trying to resolve the problem. And these thefts took place over a 3 to 6 month period. How can they get away with this malicious crime? It's an increasing problem due to our wonderful technology and the internet. Often buyers and sellers don't have personal face-to-face contact. Transactions take place over the internet or telephone. The seller doesn't see the identity thief and can't identify them. All the criminal has to do is give them a different shipping address from your billing address. Some identity thieves even submit change of address information to your bank and credit accounts, making it more difficult for you to spot unauthorized transactions. Why don't people find out about identity theft sooner? You may be surprised, but most people don't check their statements as soon as they get them. They may set them aside, making payments on the balance without reviewing the purchases and giving the thief even more time to run up a big tab. Even when the theft is discovered, it's very difficult to find the perpetrator. They're using your address and information. Bogus shipping addresses may go to a post office box or postal service. They may even go to a non-existent address. All the thief has to do is monitor for deliveries. Another reason it's hard to prevent identity theft on your credit cards is that no one knows about it until the monthly billing statement goes out. As mentioned before, only the most diligent credit card holders catch these abuses quickly when they review their statements. Some people assume the credit card company's records are accurate. They may even assume they made the purchase when in fact it was an identity thief. Normally, identity thieves who prey upon credit cards make as many purchases as they can in the days immediately following the theft. They can quickly reach your credit limit and often exceed it. You find out about it when your purchases are refused by the company or when the debt collector calls. Having a little of your personal information gives access to the rest of your information. Identity thieves often misrepresent themselves, calling your bank or credit card company with a piece of personal information to learn more about your accounts. When this happens, you become even more vulnerable. Pretending to be you, they can transfer money out of your accounts, change your address, and apply for mortgages or loans. They may even rent apartments or apply for jobs masquerading as you. If you think you've become a victim of identity theft, you should immediately take action to stop the crime or maybe even catch the thief. Immediately file a police report. Don't pass go. Don't wait a day or two. As soon as you're aware of fraudulent purchases or misrepresentations, contact your local police. You can also call the local U.S. Attorney's Office. Identity theft is often considered a federal crime depending on the circumstances. When you've made your report, be sure to get and keep a copy of it so that you can provide the information to your bank and creditors. File a report with the Postal Service. This may help you find out where goods were delivered and prevent the continued use of a bogus address. Notify the credit bureau. Immediately inform at least one of the three major credit reporting agencies: Equifax, TransUnion, or Experian. You may qualify for a free credit report. You can also freeze your credit reporting. That way you will be alerted if anyone makes a credit inquiry or tries to open a new account in your name. There is a small fee for freezing the report, but it's well worth it to protect further abuses. Notify your bank and all your creditors of the crime. Close your accounts and reopen them so that you change all your account numbers. If they'll agree to do it, assign a special password to your account so that transactions can't be processed without your express authorization. And make sure that check verification companies are aware of the problem so that they will not authorize the use of fake or stolen checks. Change your PINs and passwords immediately. If you must keep a written list of them, keep that list under lock and key and don't share it with anyone. If you keep them in an electronic file, be sure to password protect the file. When you change your passwords, use new ones that combine letters, numbers, and symbols. And for heaven's sake, don't use the standard birth date, anniversary, or pet's name. Think of something unusual, something people who know you won't likely guess. Identity theft is a serious and increasing crime. Number 1 is immune. If you become a victim of this callous crime, you should act immediately to stop the activity and to help law enforcement catch and prosecute the perpetrator. Be sure that every company with which you financial dealings is aware of the problem. Alert them quickly and get their cooperation in stopping and catching the thief. We've all heard the nightmare stories from victims of identity theft. Tales of expenses and time lost to repairing good credit abound. In the most extreme cases, identity thieves commit other crimes using their victims' personal information, so you can even get in trouble with the law as a victim of identity theft. Be vigilant. Be suspicious when it comes to your financial information and accounts. Guard your information carefully. Review financial documents as soon as you receive them and follow up immediately if you find problems. You may not be able to control every aspect of your financial record, but you can take many common sense steps to protect it and prevent identity theft from making you the next victim. Credit reports and identity theft protection. Believe it or not, one of the best ways to prevent identity theft from ruining your life is to make sure that you've an idea of what's happening with your credit. While you may think that the only thing that you can do is to make sure that your credit card balances are okay and make sure that number one is charging anything extra to your account. But there's much more that you can do in the way of identity theft protection. One of those ways has a lot to do with your credit reporting agencies. A credit reporting agency tracks the accounts that you've your balances on them and even figures out for other lenders if you are a good risk or if you are a really bad one. Whenever you go to open a new account, the credit grantors will look at what the credit reporting agencies have on you and make their decision based on that. If you've poor credit ratings listed there, you may actually be getting the interest rates or the loans that you want and that you deserve. For most people, this is because they have mismanaged money or have quite a bit of credit as it's. Yet it may be because someone that got a hold of your personal information is now using it against you. If someone opens a credit card account using your social security number, you are going to run into a problem. But it will likely come up on your credit report that you've this additional account. For that reason, you need to make sure that you know what's on your credit report on a regular basis so that you can ensure that what your credit grantors see is really what you've earned. To do this, you should at least monitor your credit report on a yearly basis. In the United States, law has been put into practice that says that the credit reporting agencies are required to provide you with a free credit report of yours each year. There's no reason then that you should not have a report in your hand to check for identity theft. You should take a close look at the information listed there. Look for this. Is there an account that you don't have? This may be something that's new or old. Is there a false address listed on your report? If someone tried to open an account with your social security number with a different address, this is going to show up here. Are there any other mistakes on your credit report, including inquiries into it that you may not have made or allowed to be made? Identity theft protection comes only when you know what to do to protect yourself. You should know what's being reported about you on your credit report. If you haven't looked at yours lately, now is the ideal time to do so. What can I do to protect my personal credit? It's not easy to protect yourself from identity theft. Most of it is intended to occur without your knowledge or consent. And there are many avenues for identity theft that are outside your control. But there are some things you can do to lessen the chances for identity theft. Secure your personal information at all times. Don't leave lists of account numbers unlocked. And don't share your user IDs or passwords with anyone. Maintain as much control over your personal financial information as you can. Don't throw mail away if it contains any personal information, including your full name and address. Shred these documents before putting them in the garbage. Educate yourself about the techniques and tactics used in identity theft and protect yourself accordingly. Don't share personal account information with anyone, including co-workers, friends, and roommates, unless they're also responsible for paying your bills. They have no reason to have this information. And don't give them your passwords without a very good reason. If you do share your passwords, change them as soon as possible. Shred unwanted and pre-approved credit applications and have your name removed from those mailing lists. Be careful when you make purchases online to use only secure servers and to carefully guard your information. Don't keep a written list of passwords and use passwords that are difficult to figure out rather than something simple like your phone number. How do I know if someone is using my personal information? Many victims of identity theft are not aware of the problem until they are refused credit or receive a bill for purchases they didn't make. There are a few ways to catch identity theft early on. Request your credit report from one or all of the three major credit reporting companies: Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. Review the reports carefully to assure you're aware of and agree with the status on all accounts. Make sure there are no accounts you don't know about listed there. And check all recent credit inquiries. Companies from which you've not asked for an account should not be making inquiries. This is a sure sign that someone is out there using your name and information. When you review your credit report, immediately contact the reporting company and your creditor about any errors. Make sure individual account information is accurate and up to date, and be very persistent in getting errors corrected. You may have to provide documentation for corrections, and you'll most likely have to contact the companies several times before the corrections show up in your report. Review your account statements immediately when you receive them. Be sure you're aware and approve of all transactions. Check to be sure recent payments are reflected. Make sure they have the correct address. If you find errors on bank or credit card statements, contact the company immediately and continue to communicate with them until the corrections are reflected in your statements. What if I'm already a victim of identity theft? If you think someone else is using your identity or personal financial information inappropriately, contact the nearest office of the U.S. Department of Justice. Contact your creditors to alert them to the fraud. Also inform your bank of the activity and secure their agreement to help protect your information. You may want to revisit the names of people authorized to access your personal financial information and limit it to essential parties, and find out as much as you can about the accounts, purchases, and applications the identity thief has made using your name. Then contact those companies directly and immediately to make sure they close the accounts and notify law enforcement when they become aware of any additional transactions. 3 ways to protect yourself, your reputation, and your credit. No doubt that identity theft is a national problem. There are things as an average citizen you need to know. Remember that everyone of any age, including babies and children, can be a victim of identity theft, so educating yourself should be top priority in spotting identity theft. You may be asking yourself how you can do this. By following these 3 important rules. Identify the identity theft. Most victims are not aware they have been preyed upon until notices of unpaid bills or charges on credit card bills are due. This can put a huge weight on their shoulder, affecting them mentally, emotionally, and physically. Some may say you are going overboard by doubling or even tripling your precautions. This is even more important for people whose credit history is impeccable. Thieves always look for these people first. These thieves are smart because they know if a person's credit is good, they can do extreme amounts of damage. Once the thieves have control of your marked credit, they can open new credit accounts, plus use your personal data to place counterfeit checks out, transfer money out of your bank account, and obtain a job. Should you be applying a loan to buy a house and you are denied, this should send a warning flag. Also, calls and letters will be coming in for things you were approved for or denied for on things you know you never applied for. Plus, there will be purchases on existing credit card holdings or a utility bill at different addresses. Be immediately suspicious if you notice you aren't getting the bank or credit statements or anything else you would get on a regular basis. Take countermeasures. To avoid being one of the victims, remember what actions you need to take to prevent it. Don't give out personal data to just anyone. Never give it out over the phone or internet. Check statements regularly. These crimes happen because people take for granted their security and don't check their credit card or bank statements on a regular basis. Keep on hand past statements to compare with the current one. You don't need to take all your papers with you everywhere you go. Carrying a passport or social security card in your wallet or purse can be dangerous. Don't throw receipts just anywhere either. Make sure your mailbox is secured. Get the mail once it has arrived if possible, and if you plan to leave, get someone you trust to get your mail for you. Shred anything that has personal information on you in it, especially if you plan to throw these items away. Make sure the information cannot be visible once it's been rid of. Don't be afraid to ask for help. When surveyed, 60% of victims said they didn't report the theft to police. Do call the police if you know you've been a victim. Request a copy of the credit report from the 3 bureaus and dispute what you feel is fraudulent. If your credit cards are stolen, make sure to let the company know this. This goes for bank checks as well. Close accounts and open new ones. If you had a debit card, cancel it and use another password. Should you be one of the few who get a new social security number, be careful when establishing new credit under it. It might get confusing when you are trying to repair the first one. Following the above guidelines ensures your credit report is as safe as you can make it. Identity theft protection, using your credit report. One of the things that you can do when it comes to identity theft protection is to use your credit report to help you. There are several ways that this can help you, but the bottom line is that you need to do it. Your credit report is a detailed report that's offered by several companies. It helps you and credit lenders to see just how much of a risk you're based on your past history of credit as well as your current amount of credit. By taking a good look at these things that the reporting agency is providing, the lender will make decisions such as if they will lend you money to buy a car or a home, and if they will extend any other form of credit to you. But if you're a victim of identity theft, you may find yourself in a whole world of trouble. Your credit report is a good way to see if someone is actually using your information against you. To know this, you should take the time to find out what is on your report. Each individual that has one is entitled to receive a free credit report each year from the credit reporting agencies in the US. This can be done right on the web, making it much faster for you to handle problems as well. You should check for several things on your credit report. First, you should ensure that there are no new accounts or old ones on your credit report that you didn't open and use. If you didn't open the account and it has a balance on it, chances are that someone else did. Look at the inquiries that are listed on your credit report as well. This will help you to see just who's looking at your report. Finally, make sure that the addresses that are listed there are really yours. Check credit report regularly and beware of identity theft. If you've ever made a major purchase like a home or automobile, you should know how important credit reports are to your life. Credit reports are used for much more than just checking your ability to pay a debt. Many service companies, apartments, auto insurance, cable TV, etc. check your credit reports before they approve your application. Potential employers are likely to check your credit reports before they make the decision to hire you. Credit reports are the single most valuable tool for you to find out if you've become the victim of identity theft. Your credit report score is a number ranging from 330 to 830, calculated based on a complex and high protected algorithm. The higher your credit score, the better your credit. A good credit report score makes it more likely that your loan or credit application will be approved, and it makes it more likely that you'll get a favorable interest rate on money borrowed, whether through a loan or credit card. Four companies, Experian, TransUnion and Equifax, are the major credit report bureaus that collect and maintain information on your borrowing and repayment history, and they provide reports to your potential creditors upon request. U.S. citizens can by law request one free credit report each year, and you can sign up for a fee to maintain more regular access to your credit reports at all three companies. What information do credit reports contain? Credit reports contain very detailed information about you, including your legal name and any aliases you may have used, current and past addresses, employment history, and date of birth. They also contain details on your credit status that includes current and past payment status, for example, number of payments over 30, 60, 90 days on individual loans and credit accounts. Total number of open and closed accounts, including the credit limit and account balance, whether payments on our accounts are current or delinquent, public record information like bankruptcy, local court records, liens, judgments, and child support records. This information that can stay in your record for up to 10 years. Specific credit inquiries made when we applied for loans or credit accounts in the past kept very current. Detailed account history for each account kept very current, indicating both on time and overdue payments. Credit card debt limit, account balance, and payment history for active, open, and closed Accounts your credit score. What is identity theft? Identity theft is a serious crime where someone else uses your personal information, name, social security number, home address, etc. without your permission to commit fraud or other crimes. The federal government estimates that as many as 9 million Americans' identities are stolen each year. Identity thieves may use your credit report, score and record to rent an apartment, obtain a credit card, open a telephone account, or get approval for a major loan like a mortgage when the identity thief fails to pay for the goods or services he has obtained default on. Payments will show up in your credit report. This not only lowers your credit report score, but the creditors will most likely come to you to pay off the debt. People don't usually know this is happening unless they spot an unauthorized charge on a credit card or see unknown credit inquiries and accounts on their credit report. Some people are able to resolve identity theft problems fairly quickly, but others spend years and thousands of dollars trying to restore the good credit report. Occurrence and prevention of identity theft. While there are a wide variety of ways thieves get your personal information and steal your identity, here are some of the most common methods. 1. Dumpster diving. The identity thief goes through your garbage to find bills or other mail with your personal information. One way to prevent this is to shred any paper with your name, address, or any other personal information. Be very careful about what you throw out. Once it's in the garbage, it's an open book. 2. Skimming. Some technologically savvy identify thieves can steal your credit card numbers while they are being processed at the store. This is particularly easy when you make online purchases. While you can't protect yourself from all of these attempts, you can use secure sites when entering credit card or bank information on the internet. Though it's probably not generally approved of, you can easily use false address and telephone numbers to discourage use of your private information. Be sure and check your statements as soon as they come in for unauthorized orders or charges. And if you do much online banking or bill paying, you can check your accounts regularly online for charges you didn't make. Be careful and cautious in using SIR IDs and passwords to make purchases or apply for credit on internet sites. 3. Phishing. An identity thief may pose as a bank or credit card company and ask you to verify personal information. They may do this through an email that looks as if it has come from a trusted business, through a spammed email asking you to follow an innocent-looking link to their not-so-innocent website, or they may catch you off guard with pop-ups or instant messages requesting personal information. They may even use the telephone to get this information from you. Never give your personal information out to anyone you don't know. Before verifying private information with an online service, check to make sure that the company you deal with is really the company that sent the request. 4. Changing your address. Identity thieves have been known to divert mail by submitting a change of address notice with the post office, thereby diverting your personal credit information to them. This is one area where maintaining and checking your personal information with companies on the internet may allow you to spot such fraudulent attempts. 5. Old-fashioned theft. Hold onto your wallet, your purse, mail pre-approved credit offers, checks, or tax information. Once an identity thief has possession of your belongings, they can easily imitate you and abuse your good credit report. 6. Pretexting. Another technique that's difficult for you to control is the practices of obtaining your personal information from the companies you deal with. The identity thief may pretend to be conducting research to get information the establishment would not otherwise divulge. Once he has your personal information, he may call your bank pretending he's lost his checkbook or other important information like your investments. Pretexting is against the law, but you may be the last to know when it's happened. The single most important thing you can do to keep your own identity safe is to be aware of all activity on your accounts and to make regular reviews of your credit reports. They will contain the information you need to know if someone else is meddling in your business and using your identity for their benefit. The sooner you know some things going on, the more quickly and effectively you'll be able to stop it and have your credit reports corrected. Allowing abuse of your credit report to go on 4 months or even years can create a serious, costly, time-consuming effort to win back your good reputation. What should I look for on my credit report for evidence of identity theft? Review your credit report carefully as soon as you receive it. Pay close attention to the report of inquiries about your credit. If you've specifically applied for a loan or opened a new account, you should find a credit inquiry from that company. But additional inquiries may indicate that someone else is making applications using your name and information. If you find such inquiries, immediately contact the inquiring creditor and the credit report agency. Immediately notify the credit reporting agency if you find errors like a closed account that shows as open or a paid-off balance that appears to be outstanding. You may have to provide documentation to support corrections, and you may have to make the same contact several times to assure the correction is made. But be persistent. Your credit report is a direct reflection of your financial dealings. Creditors and credit report agencies are obligated to report correct information. Check every credit statement you receive to verify that you know about and approve all charges it contains. Make sure it reflects recent payments too. Contact the creditor quickly and follow through to make sure your account information is accurate and up to date. A little common sense and a lot of precaution will help you avoid identity theft and bad credit you didn't earn. Keep up with your accounts. Review credit reports regularly and be sure to follow up when they contain errors. You'll find the rewards of your effort in your credit report score. Protect your credit with Identity Theft Shield. Today we live in a world that has become more complicated than it ever was before. Technological innovations allow for us to make business deals in just a short time on the net. However, with this technology comes the risk of cyber crimes. Identity theft is a common crime today, and it has grown to great proportions mainly due to the digitization age. The Federal State Commission in the states tells us that there have been over 27 million reports of identity theft since 1999, and that in 2003 alone there were 10 million cases. This just tells us that this kind of crime is on the rise. What next? Well, you may have had your personal credit card stolen. In a case like this, the credit card company or bank can assist you by blocking the card and replacing it with a fresh one. But there's more to identity theft than this simplicity. Have you heard about the Identity Theft Shield? You can use it when opening a new bank account, applying for a credit card, and things like that. It's a kind of insurance against fraud, and we now know we can all be victims of these things. The 1st of May, imagine that all you would want after being a victim of identity theft would be to clear your own name of crimes the thief may have committed under your name. But the legal services departments have worked hard at these issues, and things are easier today. For example, this company called Kroll has made efforts to assist many companies to secure people's private data. Such security is required in banks and card companies since they have a huge database of people's private data. They're the targets of the hackers. How Identity Shield can help you? Well, you would have quick and foolproof access to your data and your belongings. The Shield gives you a credit rating so you can monitor every financial move you make as well as its effects. It's good for people who use many credit cards to be linked with an Identity Shield service. It helps them to make regular reports and also give the clients regular updates on their finance at no additional charge. The Identity Shield would warn you if your finances were suddenly in danger, so you don't really have to worry about that. You would feel free from creditors who would love to make a little more out of you. That's how the Shield truly does get its name. It shields you from trouble and disaster. So if you do feel that your credit record may be in danger, do take the time to have a discussion with a sales rep from an Identity Theft Shield provider. It may just be what saves you from a major hurdle: identity theft protection and being safe online. If you're a smart consumer, you know that identity theft protection is something you always need to strive for. If you don't do everything that you can to protect yourself from those that are looking to walk away with your identity and more than likely your money, you may be facing years of heartache and frustration. One of the most common areas that people worry about identity theft in is that of the online world. Each year, thousands of people will face problems with their identity being stolen from the web. To protect yourself, learn what you can do now. There are several ways in which people can get your information on the web. You may be thinking that you just should not use any of your credit cards online, but this does not have to be the case. You need to use them smartly. Here are some tips to help you to ensure that identity theft is not something that happens to you when you're online. Only use your credit card on secure sites. To know if a website is secure, make sure that there is an S after the HTTP in the browser box where the website's address is located. A secured site is nearly impossible for some to steal information from. Only use your credit card directly from merchants you know. If you want to make a purchase from a merchant that you don't know, you should consider using an e-currency company such as PayPal. This service allows you to hook your credit card or your bank account up to it. When you want to make a payment online, you can pay with your PayPal account, which will then draw the funds from your account. Your account and information doesn't go to the merchant at all. Use and run your spyware. In some cases, people may have spyware on their computer. This software gets into your computer through an email download, through a file or program, or in several other ways. If the program gets on your computer, it may be able to track and store information about what you're doing, perhaps even your credit card information on the program, and then reports it back without you having any idea. Spyware protection should be on continuously and run at least weekly. Finally, don't ever give out your personal information online in an email or in a chat room. There is no reason that someone should have your full address, name, or credit cards numbers in this means. You need to carefully consider what you are providing so that you don't make the mistake of providing the wrong information to the wrong people. Identity theft protection starts in your hands, especially online. How to prevent identity theft when making payments online. When it comes to shopping online, you may think that you should never do it. The fact is, though, that this is the way of the future and you should do it. But you should be smart about it. This is part of your identity theft protection knowledge. You should always be able to know when it's safe to make a purchase online and when it's not. Always look for the S after the HTTP in the browser window. This stands for secure. In most cases, this means that others can't get onto that page to access your information. Shop from reputable retailers that you know and trust. If you're unsure about one, use an online currency setup instead. For example, use PayPal to make your payments. You can make your payments to them and then use the funds there to pay the company. This keeps your personal information, such as your credit card, safe from those on the web. Always type in the website address instead of following links that are sent to you. This way, you're sure that you go to the right location instead of going to one that may be a fake setup to look like the original. Online identity protection is something that you need to have and do each time that you think about making a purchase on the web. Protecting yourself from identity theft on the web. When it comes to making purchases on the web, there are several things that you should know about when it comes to identity theft protection. Several people think that identity theft is something that will happen to them if they make purchases on the web. Yet what is important to know here is that if you make purchases in the right manner and take care while you're online, you should not have any problems when it comes to doing so. You don't have to feel worried every time you attempt to make a purchase. Just use these tips to help you. First of all, make sure that the websites that you're visiting allow you to pay for their purchase on a secured web page. This page should have an address that starts with HTTPS. If the S is missing, the site is not secure on the payment page and you should not use it. 3DLY If an ad comes to you through your email, you should not click on the links in the email to visit the site, especially if it's a big well-known company. Instead, type it into your browser so that you make sure you're not going to a fake website geared at taking your money. You should never provide anyone on the web with your personal information either. You can also use a payment service such as PayPal. This will allow you to make purchases without the worry that more than the purchase price will be applied to your account. This is a great form of protection on the web. Also, make sure that you've an up-to-date and running spyware program. This will help you to ensure that number one is recording your information while you're online and reporting it back. There are many things that you can do to ensure that you're always safe when it comes to making payments and purchase on the web. In fact, you can safeguard your identity in a number of ways here. Combating online identity theft. How do you like knowing that hackers just sent you a virus? Did you know that there's another way these predators are attacking on the web? Identity theft is a rapidly growing problem for many people. For several million people, it has already ruined personal transactions. How can people do this? What are the identity theft's repercussions and what can you do to prevent it? In the United States alone, identity theft is no longer uncommon because several bureaus are taking immediate actions to be rid of this problem. Yet there's still some difficulty in doing so. Identity theft can happen when a hacker is able to obtain your information via the internet. Data, such as your full name, bank account numbers, and other information that has been posted online. Once they get this information, they are able to use it for many forms of crime. Whether it be to commit fraud or even just to steal your hard-working money. All you need to do to know you're broke is check your checking account. All your money is gone. A new way of online identity theft is spoofing. How does spoofing work, you ask? Spoofing works by recreating a website with one that has the same name. In other words, that site becomes one the thief takes control of. He is now the head boss and able to control all the finances from the website. There are three basic parts can let the thief manipulate ID theft. These are domain name, actual content, and web hosting. 1. Domain name. These sites can be purchased from numerous online sources for a small prices. The name will have dashes, letters, and numbers. 2. Actual content. The second component to start a website. Remember HTML and streaming media. This is the second key module in order to publish a site. The vital factor to deem here's the HTML and the streaming media are needed to distribute online. 3. Web posting. This is the last step in the hacker's plan to boost his plan off for stealing people's identity. From here, the thief will say that website plus its principals and employees. With all this, the profits that's supposed to go to the rightful owners will go to the thieves. Instead, potential clients and buyers will not even notice the difference. Individuals and companies do have a way of protecting themselves. Identity thieves can get through many of the blocks that websites put up. Yet with two different tactics, companies can reduce their chances of being spoofed. 1. It's important to protect yourself, so getting an antivirus program would be the smart thing to do. One major way thieves can get all your information is sending you worms and viruses. These viruses will compromise your computer, and having one of these antivirus programs to weed them out can help. The more protected you're, the less chance these thieves will get your personal and company information. 2. Secure servers have the ability to transmit data over the website without compromising people's information. Using this can help when people are transmitting credit card information to buy something off your website. A thing that needs to be looked into. B2. You go with a securing server company. Be informed about the business you're going to be paying to secure your information before you give out any online data to them. Get the things that protect your website for your own sake and the sake of those visiting your site. Online identity theft protection. As the world becomes more and more dependent on the web, there are increasing amounts of opportunity for identity theft to happen. For those that are using the web to pay for things, this can be one of the most troublesome things. Yet it's also important to note that online identity theft is about the same risk as it's for those that use a credit card in other venues. The same risk is posed here. Still, knowing how to protect yourself from online identity theft is very important. You should also be teaching your children to do the same thing, as it's not always money that these thieves are after. Basic information. First and foremost, you should be leery of providing anyone on the web with your personal information. If you're just chatting with someone, even if you think you know them, you should pay special attention to what they're asking you. For example, you should never provide details about who or where you are. Your address should never be given over the web in a instant message or in a chat room. In fact, probably not in an email either. You should never provide your social security number to anyone either. You should never provide any information about your financial information either. We'll get more into detail about that in just a minute. Make sure that none of this basic information about you is available on profiles either. Making payments online. When it comes to shopping online, you may think that you should never do it. The facts, though, that this is the way of the future and you should do it. But you should be smart about it. This is part of your identity theft protection knowledge. You should always be able to know when it's safe to make a purchase online and when it's not. Always look for the S after the HTTP in the browser window. This stands for secure. In most cases, this means that others can't get onto that page to access your information. Shop from reputable retailers that you know and trust. If you are unsure about one, use an online currency setup instead. For example, use PayPal to make your payments. You can make your payments to them and then use the funds there to pay the company. This keeps your personal info, such as your credit card, safe from those on the web. Always type in the website address instead of following links that are sent to you. This way, you are sure that you go to the right location instead of going to one that may be a fake setup to look like the original. Online identity protection is something that you need to have and do each time that you think about making a purchase on the web. Be informed and up to date. Read articles concerning identity theft. Online crimes have quickly become commonplace today. It comes as a nasty surprise to one when you know your password has been hacked into. At times it can cause you monetary loss, as well as embarrassment among people that you've sent emails to. The internet in itself is a great place to learn more about identity theft. You can find much info on how you can stay protected on the internet right on the internet. Stay informed. Articles that talk about identity theft are probably the best way to get some know-how on this topic. Articles on this subject will inform you as to how exactly a thief can pose as you on the internet to use your identity for their own personal benefit. This is a relatively new form of crime, and courts are still deciding on new laws to battle these thieves. You can find a lot of information on existing court cases of identity theft as well. The different categories. Identity theft could be as simple as a friend playing a practical joke to fool another common friend using your identity, may be an instant messenger, for example. On the other hand, it could be as serious a matter as a complete stranger going to great lengths to find out your ATM PIN number, your email passwords, your bank account details, your PayPal, it may be, and things like that. When a person cracks one of your passwords, for example your email password, it becomes quite easy for him/her to crack the rest of the information from there. People have lost a lot of money due to such illegal activities, and that's the kind of identity theft you need to protect yourself from. People who commit such malicious crimes are generally very shrewd minds who get a kick out of it. However, when they have access to your personal details, it is only a matter of time before they succumb to using it for their own benefit. Precaution. Prevention is better than cure, and that's doubly so with the case of online identity theft. You have a fingerprint in the real world that number one can really fake. On the internet, your passwords are your only fingerprint. Terms and conditions. Legal notice. The publisher has strived to be as accurate and complete as possible in the creation of this report, notwithstanding the fact that he does not warrant or represent at any time that the contents within are accurate due to the rapidly changing nature of the internet. While all attempts have been made to verify information provided in this publication, the publisher assumes no responsibility for errors, omissions, or contrary interpretation of the subject matter herein. Any perceived slights of specific persons, peoples, or organizations are unintentional. In practical advice books, like anything else in life, there are no guarantees of income made. Readers are cautioned to rely on their own judgment about their individual circumstances to act accordingly. This book is not intended for use as a source of legal, business, accounting, or financial advice. All readers are advised to seek services of competent professionals in legal, business, accounting, and finance fields. You are encouraged to print this book for easy reading. Thank you for watching. Don't leave before you press like button below and subscribe to this channel. As a subscriber you will receive a new notifications every time.